Hey everyone, this is Daniel over here at the Portland Tai Chi Academy. I'm here with Joey. Joey, how long have you been practicing Tai Chi here at the Academy?
So I believe I've been here since October, so that puts me at 8 months or so.
Yeah. It's already been 8 months, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy saying a number.
Yeah. Did you, your goals for coming in to tell the folks, that are listening, what were your initial, I guess, aspirations of the practice?
Yeah, I was here to maybe find a different direction from my normal practice. I had a meditation, stretching, movement practice of my own that's more inspired from yoga. And coming here, I expected it to be similar, but maybe I was just something new. This really introduced a whole different style of movement, which I didn't realize how much I needed. I think I appreciate the discipline. And how much of a more sincere of a practice it feels.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's been different in a lot of ways that I didn't expect.
That's awesome.
That I very much appreciate.
Yeah. And then have you seen it kind of help you with what you had already currently learned? Did it feel like it expanded a little bit more, or gave another perspective, that kind of thing?
Yes, there's no the whole concept of yielding to me. is new, but it's so exciting to see how that plays out in my day-to-day life, as well as just in how I move my body now. It shows up, and it's it makes just moving more entertaining, I think.
Yeah, just the mindfulness, right? The grounding. And we talked about this in our first lesson with yielding. It's just something we do without thinking about it, and it's cool, right? And building that sensitivity. I guess kind of off the cuff, what has been your favorite part of the practice? I mean, if yielding or push hands or whatever.
Yeah, I think I do find a lot of, it's really fun to do the centering practice with another person, and those kind of partner touch exercises are stuff I haven't experienced much because I've never practiced any martial arts, so that's enjoyable. But I feel developing the form has definitely been something that I just kind of have this appreciation for. I remember, I think it was one of the kind of emails y'all sent out, just these little snippets, informative bits about the practice, and something about delayed gratification. And that, when I saw that, I was just whoa, yeah. And there's just kind of when you see other people who are farther along in the form, and it's just whoa, how long have they been disciplining themselves to get there? And it's kind of motivating, but it's also just, I appreciate just slowing down and not worrying about completing the form, but more so just finding the enjoyment and just kind of those minor emotions.
I'm very happy that you mentioned that, because in our first lesson we talked about it. That was the first point, is appreciate the journey, right? Don't rush, because it's easy to be I want to get through the whole form, but you do that and you kind of lose sight of why you do it, right? And it's good. And we were just talking about it earlier, but you're almost kind of in middle, or close to near the 60-70% mark, I think, on the form, and almost finishing and kind of taking your practice to another direction, right? Yeah, I guess with the community and that side of things, I always ask students, how have you felt how have you kind of felt you fit into the academy here? Can you speak to that just a little bit?
I think when I hear that, I think of just the style of the classes, the structure of the classes, where we spend the second half with your little cohort. You're kind of teaching and learning from each other. So there's this aspect of we're not just all students, but you unwittingly find yourself in the role of a teacher at times.
Yeah.
And that's also just kind of really cool. I feel we learn better that way. We're more open, I think, to ask questions to our little cohort buddies, and just that a little feels lighter. But yeah, I think that's where I've I appreciate that structure.
Yeah, it's a sense of it's having a colleague, or sense of camaraderie, but also somebody else's way of seeing the practice may be a little different from yours, so it helps you kind of hit it at a different angle, right?
Yeah.
So
there's also that sense that just you don't want to leave behind someone in your
cohort.
Yeah. Some people are just oh, I'm not there yet. Y'all just go on. It's kind of just no, we'll practice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess with that, you mentioned a little bit earlier, kind of backtracking from like seeing like the benefits coming outside of the academy, those things. What have you felt? You know, how has it affected your outside life, like outside of the academy?
Yeah, I think a lot about, I think a lot more about like emotional yielding now.
Great. Okay.
And like conflict comes up in my partner. I do like group facilitations with my job. Like I run a lot of groups.
That's right.
And so it's fascinating to think about how that works in group dynamics, kind of just like little power dynamics that are happening. I feel like I've always been a pretty passive person, so that kind of like slides in nicely.
Yeah.
And then I think aside from that, I feel more confident to like intuitively explore movement in my like daily routine, as opposed to like yoga. It's just like, stretches, poses, like repetitive movements, but there's less like freedom. And I feel like practicing the Qigong and the Tai Chi, like it makes me more like curious to, for my morning practice, to just start and just be like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Just kind of feel out like what kind of movement feel like it's yielding to like the tension in my body, or like what feels good. And so that's like, totally derivative thing that came out of the practice that I didn't see, but it's made like a more intimate routine for myself.
Good. Oh, that's awesome. Like I was saying, Joey's been extremely consistent with us, and has been a great part of the community and helping, and even just watching earlier, you were helping out and leading the others, which is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, but thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we'll see you in class. It'll be great.